is everybody here? We'll start now.
You got a couple more minutes. We've got to do a couple more minutes.
Okay.
I think your clock is off.
Is it off?
I got 5 o'clock on the money right now.
My alarm just went
I
off.
bet you everyone has a different time.
No way.
I've got
I got
4:59.
5 o'clock.
4:59.
I just went by my alarm. It
We're,
just went off.
we're live right now, so you do whatever.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And first, pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, we have the payroll and your check signed. Meeting minutes, anybody have any problems with the meeting minutes? No?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Vote yes?
I vote yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And sewage disposal issue?
Did you sign the minutes? Did
Yes.
everybody sign
I
them?
I did.
think I did.
Yeah, I'll check.
Second.
Thanks.
And I initialed the first page.
Yeah, they're signed by all three. Okay, and the sewage disposal system for individual disposal. And this is just,
One signature.
yeah, it's just one signature's been signed off on.
Was it for the person we were talking about 2 weeks ago, Mr. Chairman?
It's Wentworth, New Hampshire.
This is for Sweden.
Sweden Road.
This is Ricky Borger's daughter's place.
Oh,
Off
okay,
Turner
all right,
Road.
okay.
Is it a new construction?
Now, they must be doing a new, that's an old farmhouse that I'm
Right.
sure they're not tearing down. So that must be just a new septic, I assume.
Did you look at it, Linda?
Just briefly, I don't know what.
I unfolded it, looked at the map.
Yeah, I looked at the map too,
Yeah.
but I was surprised they were putting a new system in because it was an old house. Unless it's been sold and exchanged hands.
Nope, it's got Wes, which is her husband, on there, so it must have
Okay.
just failed, it must just be old, I assume, because they're not building and they're not tearing down.
Why wasn't that
I'm sorry, are you
expedited?
supposed to sign that?
I did.
Oh,
Why wasn't
good.
that expedited?
Thank you.
Just saw it, I have no idea.
What do you mean, why wasn't it expedited?
The system is-
They didn't request that.
They didn't?
You gotta request it. Linda, you wanted the Health Trust for 2021 medical insurance renewal? Want an update on that?
Well, you have the form that we
Right.
need to sign. It went up, the rates went up 6.4% per person. We
Okay.
have 3 people on the plan, and they're all at the single rate. It's a total net increase in next year's budget of $2,236. That's about all. Every year, consistently, healthcare costs go up a little
Yeah.
bit. That's not a terrible percent.
Yeah. That's about right.
We just need one signature on that form as well.
You want a motion to approve that, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Does that represent an over expenditure on that line item?
Not for this year. We have to budget it in for next year. It's 2021 rates.
This is it, yeah, this is for next year. Make a motion to accept.
I move that we approve that health trust plan.
I'll second it.
Okay.
A little discussion, do we periodically put that out to bid? Like every 2 or 3 years? I know sometimes the county does.
I don't know. I've only seen Health Trust. I haven't seen anything prior.
Okay.
We're in a nice pool. They do a lot of municipalities. We're in a small pool, so we keep our costs as low as possible.
Yeah, if you had to do 3 individuals, it would be off the chart.
Sometimes if they know, well, that we're putting it out to bid, sometimes the pencils get a little bit sharper, but again, I vote to approve that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
I vote yes.
yes.
Some years back, they were far and away the lowest, but what they've changed now, I don't know.
Okay. Next issue is the request for payment, the withdrawal from the capital reserve for bridge engineering.
Mhm. They've completed now, HEB has completed now 85% of the engineering study.
Okay,
So this is the second payment. We paid 50% a month or so ago. And
Okay.
now this is 31,000.
and this is just with the Frescon across. This is-
Yes. And this is what we had agreed to take out of the capital reserve. So we have 175. So we leave a balance of
In
144,000
capital reserve.
in the bridge expendable trust.
Okay.
Is that gonna be something, as the road agent, is that gonna, is that other money that's in there, is that something you're gonna be counting on going forward with these projects?
And that's,
Excuse me?
That all that money will
Yeah.
be spent on these two bridges.
Okay.
And until we get reimbursed, there is a reimbursement for this. One bridge is 80% for the engineering, the other 75%. I don't know exactly when you can start asking FEMA for reimbursement funds. That's something you will have to ask Chris Forney when he's here.
He said he would help us with
yeah.
that.
That was my next question, have we received any?
Nope.
Well, I guess, we've got the money in our capital reserve fund, and so you think we're gonna get some of this back at some point? Is that what you're suggesting?
This is a percentage of it.
Percentage, okay.
Yeah.
So, again, we got the money there, we're not overspending any accounts, and we've agreed to do it, we've already made the first payment, I move that we make that payment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. You wanna second it?
I will second it. I think I already signed it, so I
Yeah,
think
so
I
it's-
might as well second it.
Did I sign that?
And I vote yes.
I vote yes.
And next thing is DRA assessment of sales ratio prepared by Avatar.
Yes. Do you want me to explain that?
Please.
It's very complicated. This helps, this needs to be done in order to set our tax rate. And what the ratio is, and you'll see on that report, it's at 88.55%.
Yeah.
That means that our assessments are at 88% of what the homes, the properties sold for. So the closer that is to 100, the better.
Yeah.
Well, not for us taxpayers.
Not for taxpayers.
No. Next year, we're due to have the full revaluation, so that number will go up. I've done a little historical study over the last few years.
Can I ask a quick question? What did they do this year? I thought they reassessed everything.
No, they did spot checks based on the inventories that we sent in. Next year, they're doing a full reassessment. Remember, we just signed the contract last
Yeah, I
week,
remember that.
39.9? Yeah, it's a full-blown assessment. We're required to do them every 5 years.
So they'll go to every house and.
Yes.
During the
Yes.
4-year period, all they're doing, they can't change the assessed values on these things, they can't change the base prices. All they're doing is basically an update. On the 5th year, they are allowed to change the base values for, let's say, a Cape or Colonial or whatever. That's only in the 5th year. During the 4 years, that base can't change.
All they change during those 4 years are if you've made any additions or, improvements to your property. But that, and then the other ratio after that, it's called the coefficient of disbursement, it's at 23.94.
Yeah.
That's very high. The state, starting next year, is going to require that to be 20.0 or less. And what that is, it's just another statistical measurement. I had to get a Statistics 101 from Avatar.
Yeah,
It's just based on the median sales, and there's like a bell curve that's done, and the variance shouldn't be more than 20, and that's not a percentage of anything, it's just a statistical. I'm
okay, so
sure,
we're on a bell curve.
Francis,
We're on the right side of the bell curve.
it should be 20. We're quite high.
Is it a 29
Yeah.
positive or a 29 negative?
It's positive. But, they want it to be lower to 20, and,
What do we have to do?
Mark at Avatar said that'll automatically happen when we do the total reval and our assessments go up in total, and it makes the difference between the median sales and the median assessments closer, and this figure will change as well.
Okay.
So he thinks we're, in good shape. It'll just happen next year.
So from the town's point of view, we're in good shape, but it looks like the taxes are going up significantly for the townspeople.
Well, it may not be a tax increase, it may just be an assessment increase. We have to determine when we set the tax rate.
If you
There
have
are
a
a lot of
low,
different factors.
if you have a low assessment rate, as she reported,
Yeah,
it's gonna make a higher, tax rate.
right. Okay.
This whole thing is, this whole setting of the tax rate that's going to be happening, it's definitely a learning experience for
I can
all
see
of
that.
us. And, yeah, and I did speak to our DRA representative the other day. She called me, and we're in great shape. Everything that is required is into them.
What do they mean when they say great shape? That's what.
All reporting is done, approved, she has looked at it.
So we're compliant.
Yes, she's waiting for, the state to do their equalizations, and then when that gets plugged in, she's got the school information, she's got our information, she said, it's just a matter of plugging in the formulas and we'll be on our way. And she's gonna help with that, so.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think one of the questions that's gonna come up, or one of the items that is gonna have an impact here is the real estate market, from what I understand, is just going crazy right now. I mean, people are buying houses sight unseen.
And above the asking price.
Yeah, and so, I don't know what that means for somebody who's been living in Wentworth for, 40 years, and, been in the same house for 40 years and made no improvements, and now that house that they've been living in for 40 years, a similar house is just sold for, I hate to use the word inflated, that's gonna make that person staying there for 40 years, his or her house or their house is gonna be,
Taxes are going up.
yeah,
There's no question.
and
Well, there's a lot of other factors.
yes, I know, but that's one of them, that's what I said, that's one of them.
Yeah.
You need X amount of money to run the town.
Right.
If the value goes up then of the property, then the tax rate basically goes down. You still need the same amount of money. It might be some people go up or down, but if it went way up, that doesn't mean the tax rate's gonna go up. Well, the amount we owe is gonna go way up.
But in that assessment going up and down is the element of fairness.
Is what?
The element of fairness.
Yeah. I've never seen the government be fair.
So that pink sheet needs to be signed by all three of you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I was interested at the note at the top of the page that you were gonna explain this, thank you very much. Do you want us to print our names underneath?
Does it say it?
It just, signature of assessing official, I can't read the fine print under that. So I'll just follow the lead of my chairman.
these are all signed, we'll just put them back in our packet for you.
Two off now.
Okay. As far as what's been going on in the town, you're driving in here, you see what we've done on, the DOT is doing on Route 25. I think they're doing a good job. One of the issues there is water coming off of Atwell Hill, water coming down off of the hill on this side, and it all coalesces right in this area. The town plowing has had issues when they come around the corner there. The state has been, the DOT has been good about widening that area to make it easier for the plow to make the swing into Atwell Hill Road. They put in collection drains on this side of Atwell Hill, on this side, the southern side, and also out into the field, just above the Dollar General. They also didn't have to do it, but they put a collection drain in there to slow the water egress into the Dollar General and down into the draw behind Quentin Mack's house. So they've done a lot of good things. You know, I've been watching them. Now they're gonna move along Route 25 up to the crest of the hill, which is about another 100 yards. They're gonna do both sides of the road. Now the houses in this area on Route 25 have had water in the basement. You can see when they have to have pumps going during the spring season. And what the state plans to do is come down below the water level, put in perforated drain, and then take the collection from both sides of the road, bring it along, get the water off the road, because it's been a problem in an icy area during a lot of winters. Get it off the road, bring it into the drainage system, down across the field here, and into the collection basins above Dollar General. I think they're doing a good job. We announced this on YouTube at a previous meeting so people wouldn't be disrupted, and it's moving along.
There's gonna be a lot more water going down to Pond Brook Road.
No, that's what, because they did at least 4 stages of mitigation. That's what I just described.
Arnie,
Yes.
when are they gonna continue that project up the road?
They're going to probably,
Is that soon?
probably, he knows the schedule, you're gonna do it right away. All the equipment's here.
Cause I know the 2021 idea was they're gonna repave
They
down
have
the
to
street
do,
all the way up, but you're doing
It's gonna
that
be done
first.
first and then.
Okay, okay,
yeah,
yeah.
you gotta, you know, as Paul did on Atwell Hill, you gotta change, and when they paved on Red Oak Hill Road, you gotta put the culverts in ahead of time.
Sure,
And
yeah, no, I was just wondering exactly what the timeline was looking like.
the timeline for the paving,
Hmm.
so the drainage situation will be done this fall,
And then
paving will be in the spring.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome.
The Historical Society, the lecture series has been going on. Local and anybody that has any history in town that they want to present at the Historical Society, they meet once a month. Linda Bronson did a presentation for about an hour on Absalom Peters, who was a general with George Washington. And she's at the junction of Atwell Hill and Cape Moonshine Road. She has that farm there. And she went over the history of the farm. And so we're trying to do some good history sessions there for people that are interested. There's a committee that developed plans for a Christmas party on the Common, be the first weekend after Thanksgiving. They're gonna have Santa Claus, a sleigh, elves, and they've got together some donations, and they're gonna get presents for the kids in town. In the past, because of weather, it hasn't been attended by the kids that much, but I think we're gonna get in touch with the school ahead of time and, you know, let people know that it's happening. And we're even gonna Santa Claus, yep.
Just to be clear, that's November 28th, that's gonna be happening.
I thought it was like the first week in December.
First week, it's the first week.
Unless it's changed, the last meeting I went to was November 28th. I don't know. I didn't go to the last meeting.
I'll talk to somebody on the committee and I'll find out the exact date and
Yeah.
make sure it's on the bulletin board. Okay. Yeah, I'm remiss in not having the exact date. The Halloween dates, as I understand it, is Friday, it's the trunk and treat. It's in the late afternoon on Friday. And then the hours for trick or treating on Saturday is from 5 until 8. And we decided that at the last select board meeting. We've gotten a letter off to the governor to put in legislation for, from the point of view of the planning board. The planning board is exploring the issues on campers and, you know, when a camper needs to have a septic system and when it can get by with just collection. And Marina and John Mead and the committee have put together a proposal. I met with Governor Sununu and he asked me to put, and I talked with him about the issues we're having in the town with more people coming up from the cities. And he agreed it's a problem throughout New Hampshire, and he wanted to get something through the legislature that would approach it from the point of view of not just Wentworth, but for the whole state. So Marina was nice enough with John Mead and the committee to put together a proposal, and we got that off in writing to the governor, to Chris Elms. Chris Elms is the administrative assistant who liaisons with the legislature, and hopefully we'll get it on the docket before December 10th when legislature closes. So we're moving along in those directions. As far as grants, I'm gonna have Linda go into detail, but we got a $5,000 grant for the elections, and we got a $15,000 grant from the Gopher grant. Linda, you wanna go into some details on that?
Okay, the CARES Act, which is federal, the one that gives us all the stimulus checks and things like that, had granted $32 million to the state of New Hampshire. And Governor Sununu put together this Gopher Act. It's the Governor's Office for Emergency Relief and Recovery. And out of that, Wentworth was allocated $21,777. Well, we only had $6,200 in expenses, the way that act was written, which gives us a balance of $15,571. Well, just September 2nd, I guess, they changed this act again for like the 5th time. And now it's allowing all monies paid to police and fire, but here we just have police, and also part of my salary, for the period of September 1st to October 15th. So out of that $15,000 that was remaining that we weren't gonna use, we were just gonna let it go, we have an additional claim of $13,690. So I'm going to be filing that claim this week, and so we're only gonna be leaving $1,800 on the table, which is better than $15,000. So we'll be getting $13,690 within the next couple of weeks.
Did you say 16?
$13,690,
Okay.
which is, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's just extra money coming in that we didn't account for. Then we also, as you know, as you mentioned, got a $5,000 grant from this, it's the Center for Tech and Civic Life. It's a non-profit, self-funded, funded, it's nothing to do with the government.
Okay.
And it is to be used for election expenses, any additional payroll, training, supplies, and cleaning.
Mhm.
And this office is considered a ballot drop-off
Okay.
area. So we're gonna get the office
Clean.
cleaned, like, because it needs a thorough cleaning, disinfected and all that stuff. So that $5,000, we're gonna use as much of it as we can
And use it
It's
for
already
the
been
school.
granted.
Okay, good.
to us.
And Steve Welch knows about this and as far
Yes,
as keeping, I know, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
yep. And then the New Hampshire Secretary of State has come up with a small grant. I don't know how much the total was, I forget, but Wentworth was allocated $2,723. And what it is, it's based on the number of absentee ballots that we process. They come up with some figure as to, what it costs per ballot, for supplies, manpower, postage, all that. I don't know how they came up with their figures, but we have to compare the number of absentee ballots from the 2016 election to this election.
Okay.
And anything over, and we've already got, as of yesterday, Deb said 107 absentee ballots. So anyway, that's
Okay.
2,700 that's coming in.
How do we collect the
That's all the
ballots here?
grants.
How do we collect the ballots here? Do we bring it to Deb?
Yes, they need to be requested,
Mhm.
and then they fill out their ballot and it comes back and to Deb. And then it gets counted on the night, election night.
Yeah. Okay.
Are these grant monies based on COVID-19 issues?
Yes, the gopher is, yes, they all are. Yes.
May I assume then that these monies are usable in addition to the monies that were appropriated by the town?
Yes.
Okay. Most of the monies you get that come into this office or anywhere just go into the general fund and potentially become part of the surplus fund balance. But if it's an emergency for which there was no planning, such as the COVID-19, then there's an exception. And I know that only because I talked with DRA
Okay.
about a year ago.
Okay, thank you. Chief, you're up with your report.
I'm sorry?
You're up with your report.
Okay, thank you. So, obviously along with what Linda just said, we're also taking part in several COVID-19 calls, as well as some calls that we took part in today with New Hampshire law enforcement regarding how we're going to try to handle the upcoming election. We don't have any concerns with Wentworth, and I'm looking forward to that just being another busy day for all of us and uneventful. I did take part in a safety meeting last week with the Wentworth Elementary School along with Chief Ames, and we conducted 2 safety drills as well with the school. That went very well. Did you come in, sir?
Yeah. Come on in, sit down.
All right. I also conducted a welfare check on a property owner who had been up checking on their property and not returned home in Massachusetts, and family members were concerned. I sit down and was able to make contact with the property owner, and messages were conveyed to the family. This was during the storm that we had, so we lost some power, we lost phone lines, and he was unable to effectively communicate with them, so we did that for them. I also conducted another welfare check on a Wentworth resident who was overdue to meet family members in Rhode Island. I was able to make contact with him and convey a message to their family members, same circumstances. I arrested a Warren resident last week for operating after suspension and operating while suspended registrations. The arrest was made on a weekend while conducting a proactive motor vehicle patrol. in one of the areas where I've been receiving some motor vehicle complaints, so that proved to be very productive. The vehicle was impounded and he was released on summonses to appear in Plymouth Court later. I have attended 2 more CAC interviews. Those are Child Advocacy Center interviews regarding some concerns over some children and families in Wentworth. I'm currently assisting New Hampshire DCYF with those investigations. I bring that up because that's taken place in the last 2 days, and I'm currently up to 24 hours in 2 days now because of what we had to do with the courts regarding these 2 investigations. So it's a very time-consuming process.
Okay.
Okay. The last thing I want to mention in detail is that last week I was asked to attend a meeting with the Pembroke Baker Lions Club, which I did. The Lions Club, as you're aware, had initiated a fundraising event called Jail and Bail to raise monies for area police departments so that they could purchase body cameras, and Wentworth was one of the first departments that they were doing that with. At the meeting, I was presented with a check from our very own Wentworth resident, Arlene Patton, and other members of the Lions Club for the purpose of purchasing 2 body cameras. I want to also mention that there were donations collected, as you know, by the Friends of Wentworth, as well as several personal donations and monies collected at the farmers market. They actually sent that to the Lions Club, and as a result of that, they actually superseded their goal and will probably be able to help other police departments obtain some cameras as well. So everybody deserves accolades and credit, and my heartfelt thank you for everyone that was involved.
Well, you deserve the support.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And that's it for me, sir.
Thank you. Chief Ames, his workload has kept him from coming tonight. He did submit a report, and I'll read it for you. Calls for service, he had a call to the Congregational Church for an alarm activation. It was due to dust particles caused by workers and the smoke detectors. Other than that, things are much quieter than they've been. As far as meetings, he's had several meetings, starting with the Lakes Region Board of Directors meeting, Wentworth Fire Department meeting, training safety meeting, and the fire drill at the Wentworth Elementary School. Met with the oil company on a new residential heating system to be installed in the Wentworth, Rumney, and Canaan on Sunday afternoon, and had a preliminary mutual aid response meeting. Items covered were types of equipment, various resources, manpower, or lack of, especially for daytime help. Looking at ways we can all provide better coverage for ours and neighboring towns. This was brought up due to some shared calls and response areas. There will be some follow-up meetings on the mutual aid material in the future. As far as personnel and training, he's got new crews and recruits that he's working with, going through a training evolution, and it can be seen when they are put to the task. The various training programs are in place, and participation among the volunteers has been fantastic. The next meeting night, we'll be going over Rescue 2 operation, uses, scene setup, and our part in patient care and rescue on a motor vehicular accident. What's your role? What's your role on this scene, and do you know how to do this type of thing? Future programs include a further dark landing zone training program, which I'm going to help arrange for January this year, so they do it in the winter. Accountability and communication operations. I think the training that the fire department does, all of this, really is going to allow them to succeed in the emergencies. Because when you're in an emergency situation, your heart rate's up, and it's training and comfort level with doing things that make you succeed. So I applaud that, and I'm going to put this in the minutes. All right, Chief. Road agent is next.
First thing I'm gonna bring up is, our international truck is back up and running. I'm sure you guys have seen the bills and you signed off on them. I'm sure it's gonna be a pretty hot topic at our town meeting, but, we put a lot of money into that truck this year, a lot of money.
How much did you say last night?
I think after Linda paid bills today, I think we're around 22,000+. maybe. Linda, can you?
Yeah, that's something that's gotta change, and
I can't remember.
I mean, we're in that area.
it's, without believing, it's excessive, it needs to change. And,
Agreed.
you know, you're doing a good job with the committee, organizing people with different backgrounds, mechanical backgrounds, financial backgrounds, experienced operators, and you're gonna come to a decision on what we need to change with equipment. And just put that together in a warrant article. And in fact, everybody's department should be starting to think about what they need in the new warrant articles, okay? Go ahead, I interrupted you.
Nope, we are in our final weeks of doing some work outside before the frost hits the ground. We have our trucks, all of our trucks ready, plows ready, trucks have all been oil changed, filters changed, sanders checked, chains checked, everything oiled and greased. We are ready in a moment's notice for snow now. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you that, but we are.
It's already been here.
Well, yeah, we did have some Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Other than that, we did some grading the last couple of weeks, just some touch up on some of our roads. The next couple of weeks, we're gonna focus on changing some culverts that I have, and we're also gonna try to finish the ditching on East Side Road, and we're gonna try to start some of the ditching on the top of North Dorchester Road up top. That is going to be our priority until the frost hits the ground. Once the frost hits the ground, we got some brush to cut.
Yeah, and have you had, speaking of North Dorchester Road, have you had any more issues where Belt Road comes in?
I haven't heard anything other than,
Okay.
a couple weeks ago. I mean, I personally, when
I went up there and looked at it, I didn't think it was a bad problem.
Personally, I don't think it's a bad problem. A couple months ago when I went and fixed it, it was a bad problem. I don't see much of an issue there at all. I don't know if anybody has driven up by to look or to see.
I went to look, I didn't see it as a major confrontational issue.
Okay. And,
So,
I looked today.
what'd you think?
It seemed, whatever he had, I didn't see it when it was a problem, but what he had done today seemed reasonable. The driveway
Yeah.
was still in good shape after all that rain. And as far as the town road goes, you have the crown paved road. And then right where the crest is, it's 50 or 75 feet
Yeah.
before you hit the driveway.
Yeah.
So there's not that much water that could possibly collect to go down. It's only half of 50 feet.
Right.
You call it Mountain Road, it's not a town road.
No, I'm not working on Belt now.
They're
It's on
not-
North Dorchester.
The intersection of North Dorchester Road.
I think I was gonna mention something. I can't remember what it was. I got my train of thought gone. I think that's all I have to.
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to let you know the committee meeting last night did go very, very well.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody that showed up. And this afternoon I have got Charlie from Western Star coming at 5 o'clock on the 16th of December, and I have got Bill Wiley from Freightliner. He will be there. They're pretty much partners now. They work for the same company now because Freightliner bought out, or Western Star bought out Freightliner.
Okay.
So neither one of them cared if the other one was there. As of right now, one's selling Freightliner, one's selling Western Star. But the bottom line is they both work for the same company right now.
Okay.
So they will be there at the next meeting to answer any and all questions.
Yeah.
They're prepared.
No,
And I think they're both gonna bring a brand new truck for people to look at. That was my request.
Can we use it for a while?
No, it's probably not gonna have a bed on it. It's probably gonna be just a body, cabin chassis.
I'm just teasing.
6 month demo.
Don't worry, yeah, we'll bring it back. Okay, thank you very much for your report.
Are they coming just for the pizza?
I didn't tell them anything about it.
Sure.
And this is coming completely out of the
Yeah.
blue. I've been attending a lot of select board meetings in the last month and a half, and I'm hearing a lot of similarities of issues that we have here with some of the other towns. So, just got one question that I do not know the answer to. I'm not sure that I would know the answer to it, but are there any pieces of equipment that we use in Wentworth that are not used 100% of the time? Is there a piece of equipment that we have that may be used, well, okay, let's just say the grader. How much is, we have a grader, right?
Oh, yeah.
How much is that grader used in the course of?
A year?
Yeah,
We last year we put about 180 hours on it.
percentage-wise,
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think, Omar, you kind of caught me off guard. So
I
if we
know, I'm
work
sorry. I apologize.
160 hours a month, if we work 160 hours a month, so we use it about 1 month out of a full year. Okay?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
10%.
Okay, so, follow-up question, if I may. So, if it's sitting idle,
Yep.
80% of the year,
Mhm.
and I know people that use tools are very jealous about their tools, they don't want other people to touch their tools.
Especially if they maintain them.
Yes, but I'm just wondering, if you have interactions with some of the other road agents in some of the other towns that maybe abut Wentworth, is there a possibility that there can be some sharing of equipment with the idea that if we're only using a piece of equipment 10 or 15% or 20% of the year, and, we're not using it every day, can there be a sharing of using a piece of equipment? The idea of saving money for
No, I know what you're saying. I'm gonna answer that the only way that that I know how from being in business is I hate letting people borrow stuff.
It doesn't come back. the same.
It never comes back, whether they broke it or not, or if it's broke before they got it. You start pointing the blame finger, hard feelings. And this equipment, I mean, we're talking of a grader that's worth $350,000. I mean, we just bought a pulley for it for $1,400, one pulley. I personally, I would have no problem if Warren or Rumney didn't have a grader and they called the town of Wentworth. In fact, I think Warren should call us, because they haven't had a grader since last April. It's had a blown motor. I think they should call us and say, will you guys grade our roads?
And just charge goes with an operator.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, Omer, and I'm on board with that.
Well, I didn't hear what,
He said make sure it comes with an operator, and what I'm saying is if Warren wanted to call me and say, hey, would you grade our roads? I'm 100% certain that between myself and the select board, we could come up with a fair hourly rate that we could pay our employee and pay for the
Standard
fuel.
rates for every piece of equipment.
I'm just saying,
Yes,
and again, I understand, tools and letting somebody else use your equipment.
yep,
Chainsaws can come back, pretty damaged, from my point of view, in the
Yes.
tree farming business. So, again, I'm just trying to do some due diligence here, I'm just trying to ask some questions with the idea
Where are you going
of.
with this? You wanna rent out our equipment?
Excuse me?
Where are you going with this? Do you wanna rent our equipment?
No,
out?
I just wanna know if there's an opportunity to share, among the towns. And if it's not possible, again, I'm just asking the question, Mr.
Like doing
Chair.
a co-op?
Yeah, something like that,
Steve?
Yeah, my only concern with that would be, as has happened in the past, we've had flooding and roads washed out. And if we have a third of a grader or whatever like that, and everybody needs the grader,
Right.
somebody ends up sitting a long time, and I wouldn't be all that happy about that. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Good point.
Some
Good point.
pieces-
That would probably be my big concern, that and the fact that, as I said to Paul, it goes with an operator. I would be very leery. I would really need to know before, personally, I would allow something like that to go out of town, knowing that the operator that was going to be running that, if it wasn't our own, if it wasn't
yeah.
Paul or John or Alan, actually knew how to run the machine, because I would have to think you could tear one of those up pretty good too.
Yeah.
As an observation, it seems to me to be the type of piece of equipment that you could really, which is really, really do a lot of damage to if you didn't know what you were doing.
Yes.
So,
Just an observation.
Omer, to answer your question, is really the grader is the only piece of equipment we have that we don't use much. But when we do use it, it's very essential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of,
So,
your projects are tied to the grader, anything to do with.
pretty much, in the spring and in the summer, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Well, you had mentioned about Warren, it hasn't had a grader since last year.
Yes.
What about reaching out to Warren as a way to generate more income?
Yeah, that's what I was asking the question.
Well, yeah, I
That's
mean,
the whole like renting out
Or rent out the grader and the,
or
Oh,
services.
I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't want, I'll just say, I don't want the road agent up there to think
No.
that I think his roads are in terrible shape, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I know they haven't had a grader. I've seen it sitting there since April. I mean, maybe they're doing something else with them. I don't know. I haven't been on Warren Road, so,
No.
I'm putting it out there. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem reaching out.
Okay. Okay, waste disposal.
Yes, I gave you a copy of my paper here from Northeast Resource,
Yeah.
and they're the ones who pick up my electronics. And I see on here that they also do the scrap metal pile and the pre-on services. And I'm gonna make a phone call, see if I can get this set up right off the bat,
Okay.
so we can have this all taken care of in one shot, and we don't have to worry about the more. I know Paul's busy, and hopefully I can get a container right in there and keep things taken care of.
So, is that it? Okay, so just so I'm clear with this, as far as metal collection, they'll put a container in there?
When I call, I'm gonna find out. They said, yeah.
Because that's what I think the town needs.
Yes, I do too, I agree.
Okay, so, and then the second thing is the refrigerators. They'll
Yep.
take those?
And, well, it's a free-on service, they'll drain them and then we'll put them in with the container and then they'll take it away.
So, okay, that makes sense.
Yes, we'll have to have
And
them.
what about the electronics?
The electronics, they pick up anyway, and I call them once a month or whenever I need them, they come in.
Okay,
They take care of it, they call the company, they come and get it. Just what they'll do here is they'll call each one of them individually,
yeah,
and then we'll have everything set up so that we can just get picked up and done.
so, okay, so the regular collection from the compactor right now, that'll still stay
Yeah, we'll stay with Witcher on.
Witchers, so Witchers will do that,
Right.
and,
Now, I did ask Chris Witcher
I
about,
was gonna say,
the metal pile.
where do you stand? on
I
that?
asked Chris Witcher about picking the metal pile up, and they're busy, and they really don't have time to.
So they're not gonna be pissed off?
No.
Okay,
No.
this would actually help.
And then I called Calpatrick's over in Bristol, and I called him twice, and he was interested, and he's busy. I just as soon go through this place, this company, and get it all done in one shot. It'll be all 3, 4, I'll do the tires there too.
is this a
They'll do the
one-shot?
tires?
Yeah, they come in, they take care of the tires too.
They're gonna leave a container for metal
They're gonna,
all the time.
Yes.
And take it out.
that's what I want a roll off, put there,
Yeah.
we can load it, and then they can come take it, dump it, and then bring it right back. That would be the greatest thing. You agree too?
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for.
And what I'm gonna do is, when I call them, I'll make sure that we can have that done, okay? Make sure that they'll bring the container in, 'cause
Yeah.
right now Chris doesn't have any containers. He's so busy that he has no room off to leave us, or.
I think Chris is overcommitted.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that you approach Northeast Resource Recovery Association and engage them for a metal collection system, okay? That they deliver the roll-on, roll-off
Yeah.
thing. That they drain the refrigerators to Freon
Yep.
and throw those in the metal collector. And then we keep up the same thing with their electronic
Yes,
pickup and
Okay.
tires.
yes, they're very good too.
And tires, okay. How are you making out with your collection of funds for people dropping tires and all those things off?
I'm not sure that that's in the budget.
I gave it to you.
Yeah, oh, it's right there, yeah.
So far, we've collected top left figure, 10,000, 11,000?
Yeah, I think,
Okay, so it's 10K coming in,
yeah.
and have they offered you a price for these services?
For the metal, not yet, but I'm gonna find out when I call.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
Okay, so just in the back of your mind,
Right.
realize you've got 10K coming in.
Yeah.
So if they come in, it's gotta be at least a break even.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
what I'm, yeah,
And just let Wendy know that.
I will do that.
Okay, any other,
And,
We're just gonna need to, he's gonna bring that back to us to vote.
right. So I'm making a
Next meeting.
motion that he goes out and does this.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay,
I second that.
it's gonna be called right out.
okay.
And,
Yeah, because we've been procrastinating on this for a while. It needs to be done
and
and
it's gonna be done.
timely
Yeah.
fashion.
And I do have another question about the oil.
Hang on, we gotta vote on that.
Yeah, so this is just for him to contact.
Right.
Yeah, I vote yes, and
Yes.
I seconded his motion.
Yeah, I vote yes.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing is, I have a 250-gallon oil tank down there that we need to get drained, okay? I called these guys before, they gave me a number, I didn't get nowhere with this number. Years ago, we did have a company coming down to the transfer station and draining it. I don't remember who it was or nothing, but they were paying us for the oil that was pumping out of that tank.
Right, because they would
Okay,
use it for
right.
heating.
Okay, so, right now we have Kevin Patton taking the, gallon jugs and stuff like that, we're dumping them into these barrels, and then we have to take them to Kevin Patton. What I'd like to do is do away with that and just build the one tank that we have, and then have them come pump it out, and then we'll be getting paid for our used oil. Cause Kevin just
Yeah.
takes it down there and burns it in the stove, but
Right.
we don't get nothing, and it's us guys that are dumping it. And another problem we're having is.
You wanna decrease the labor
Right,
aspect. I
and,
understand.
and another problem is the 5-gallon buckets, okay? Some of the truck drivers and stuff bring me in 5-gallon buckets, the oil's no good in it, okay? And Kevin Patton doesn't want it neither. So somehow we gotta figure out a way of getting, I'd rather not take 5-gallon buckets if I could, just get rid of that and just do the regular oil. Because,
Okay,
because some of them, you don't know what's in them.
I got it. I see the issue.
Yeah.
Linda, is there a way we can go back to find out who in the past who paid us to come and get that?
The captor.
I'm not trying to give you a heart attack,
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
asking you, is it
I,
possible?
yeah, I mean, I could look through some vendor things that, I mean, I wouldn't have,
Do you think Catherine would know?
Paul?
Catherine?
Catherine Soper, do you think she would know?
I think she might, because she used.
Because I have contact with her once a month, Catherine
She might.
Stover.
Who's Catherine?
Catherine Stover,
Stover, okay, oh, yes,
Yes,
okay.
she would, yep,
just as long as I remember to ask her.
okay.
I don't think-
I'll make a note, Mr. Chairman.
That would be great, because then,
And that's to find out who got our oil before,
Yeah.
okay.
you could always just look on the internet to see what company would wanna collect that.
Yeah, okay, I think we should, because right now, it's a safety issue. Paul's first, I think. Paul?
So it seems to me like we have 400 or 500 gallons of waste oil a year up at the dump. Never
Right.
mind what I get at the shop, which is usually about 100 gallons.
Right.
Do you think it would be worth looking into the town putting a waste oil furnace in the highway department?
That was what I was
I mean-
going to suggest.
I mean, I'm serious. I kind of looked at them already, and you can get a decent one for $5,000.
And then you'll heat the shop for free.
and I'll give you, yeah.
I'm not saying $5,000 is cheap. That's not what I'm getting to. But I'm saying in the long run, I mean, we're spending $3,000 a year on heat.
No, I'm building a house, $5,000 is cheap. Everything costs $5,000.
Okay.
In the long thing, I think we should, and I'm not saying just me, but get one that is EPA certified through the state. There's grants out there for them and everything. I mean, we can have the furnace we have as a backup, but I mean, 500, 600, 700 gallons of.
I think that's an attractive idea to solve
Yep.
one of the problems.
There's a lot of loggers that have been doing that and mechanics because they produce a lot of waste oil and it's a pain in the butt to get rid of anyways. And if you keep it clean and it comes right out of the machine into a bucket, you can burn it and have free heat.
Okay, how are we gonna, as far as an action item, Paul, rather than us talking more about it, why don't we just explore the options? Do you wanna take that on, or you've got a lot going on right now?
I mean, I can try to explore the option, and
Could somebody like Rick DeShano help you with it?
yeah, I mean, I can explore the option and see what happens.
It's gonna be a warrant article type of thing anyway.
It definitely would have to be. I mean, it's nothing we're gonna have done this winter, but I'm just saying in the future.
Yeah, well, maybe for spring we can
Okay,
both
so
do it
for
maybe.
you, I think we should develop a bulk storage system.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so I
I'm good
agree,
with
I
that.
agree with that. Okay, Homer, you okay with that?
I think it's a great idea, yeah.
Okay,
If we can
so
fill
I
up
mean,
barrels.
you work on the bulk storage
No
system.
problem.
Paul, you explore the furnace options, and we'll put it in as a warrant article, because that's gonna
We're
solve.
spending $5,000 a year between heat and electricity at the highway department.
Paul probably has a better control over the quality of the oil that he'd be burning through his shop
Yeah.
than through the dump, because they bring in just about anything, and you
Yeah.
have to look at everything, not really
There's
think
a lot
about
of times there's antifreeze in the.
Oh, yeah, we
You'd
do.
have to look at it, or you'd have to have a filtration system for
You,
it to go.
you just have to clean the nozzle once. I mean, it's
Yeah.
get dirty, clean the nozzle. It's not hard.
Okay, it's made for you.
What about the
Does
transmission?
this sound like a good game
It
plan?
all burns nicely.
You guys comfortable with
It
it?
all burns nicely.
Randy, could you use like a 275 tank? Those come out of the bottom, and you can put that shut off, and if you had that picked up, you could just turn it and fill a bucket. and turn
So
it
you
back
have a
off.
tank to do bulk storage already?
Yes, but right now, the tank's been full for a long time, so.
You
Kevin
need to
Patton-
get rid of it.
Right, well, we need to get rid of the, we have kind of a mess out there right now, we're filling these other barrels up for Kevin. And then we have the bulk tank here that's full, and we're not really getting nothing out of it, cause
Okay, well, there's a temporal issue here. If we gotta go to a warrant article to get a furnace, that means we're not gonna be dealing with removal of the bulk oil until
we get,
we get that. So that's 6 months out. I think we still gotta explore, either through Kathy or Stoller, find out who could come and get it temporarily to reduce your load, okay?
You think it's all usable?
Go ahead.
I'm not sure that you need to do a separate warrant article to put a furnace in that building.
I don't know.
I don't think
I'm
so.
new to this.
I think you could put that into just your line items. I don't think it has to go to a separate vote. It could be questioned as something, and if everybody was against it, they'd zero the item out, and you couldn't fund it. But other than that, I would include that in my regular budget. I mean, you can certainly put it in as a warrant article,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure it's necessary.
Paul, do you have a line item for maintenance of that building?
I do.
That's money, or is that?
I do. I have line items for building maintenance and whatnot, but that I gotta have a talk with the selectmen and the townspeople at the meeting because we need some work done to that building, according to a builder in town. That he replaced all the screws in the roof, and it's in pretty bad shape to be nice about it.
Okay, so you're gonna bring this up as a warrant article?
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Welch Builders, when they talked to me about it, said I have about 3 years to do something with the roof and trusses on that building.
Okay,
So,
it is what it is. Wait a minute, time out. You're first.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, you mentioned there might be some grant money, you will do that, looking for grant money as part of your due diligence?
I am gonna look into furnaces. I get so much on my plate with trucks and equipment, and I don't mind doing it, but as far as grants go, I'm dealing.
Grants.
Yeah, as far as grants go, I've contacted a lady today from the state that Linda gave me her name, and we are in discussions, and I might have to find somebody that can write a grant for maybe half of a new truck. I'm still waiting to hear more information.
Okay. Well, I think your focus has gotta be the equipment right now. The furnace it's a good idea, but somehow we gotta get, you need help. You're gonna be overrun very quickly. Well, you're probably overrun right now.
I'm okay.
You have a.
Yeah, and if you want to push this until, I can talk to somebody after if needed, but what would constitute something having to be a warrant article versus, I guess, a line item on?
I don't know.
That's
Openness to the public.
okay.
Steve? I'm asking Steve to
Fire
answer that
ants.
question.
As far as open.
Steve,
Oh.
you answer his question.
In answer to a question.
I guess there's certain like amount of money or something.
No, not necessarily, I don't believe, but you can certainly put it on as a warrant article if you feel the need. It's not a big issue. If it goes in as a line item, which it could easily do, I think the last time the town bought a $4,500 copy machine, they threw it into the next year budget. Then what would happen is if everybody got up in arms about it, you zero out the line item, and, which can be done from the floor, and
Okay.
you pass through. So I don't think, if we were talking,
I just wanna get it.
I think if we were
It's a
talking-
good idea, and I wanna.
and I actually think it's a good idea as well, that shouldn't be surprising. We're not talking a large amount of money, where we threw out, I think, $5,000 or something like that, or something.
I think.
Or either way, I mean, if it gets upwards of, if it gets upwards of $10,000, might be worth doing it as a separate item. I think with a logical explanation, pretty much
What we're
everybody's,
trying to do.
of what you're trying to accomplish, and realizing that it's not gonna be necessarily a 1-year payback, but if you're looking at a, more than like a 3-year payback, that's pretty easy math right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking, I think
And
that's
it also, well, it solves not only being able to get rid of the oil, but having a purpose for it and not buying heating oil.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a pretty
I
nice
think this
thing, I think.
this is great synergy between the waste disposal
Absolutely.
and the road agent.
And it's right there.
By making it a warrant article, you show the public that you are definitely trying to do something that has a future savings of money in mind. Whereas they think you spend money all the time foolishly and.
Because technically, if it was a line item as part of the, what the, I guess, I don't know, highway department's budget or whatever, other budget, I guess that would still be ultimately part of a warrant article, right?
You would be.
Yeah, like a larger, yeah, okay.
Your separate warrant.
So,
Right.
hypothetically speaking, like last year, I did have some excess money left over in my budget. Hypothetically speaking, I really don't expect to have any money left over in my budget. I don't, but hypothetically speaking, I'll say one more time, if I was to have that kind of money left over come December 20th, and I knew we were gonna be all right for the next 10 days, is that something that we could do? And, I mean, we're talking only 2 months. Can Randy get away without giving that oil away for 2 months?
Sure.
Just in case? I have 4 empty barrels down there, Randy. I mean, I'm saying just in case, cause that's 250 gallons of,
So this is something you think you can do?
I don't know, I haven't seen my budget after Linda paid bills again today, but I'm doing okay, believe it or not. I really am. I'm doing pretty good.
That's good.
Hang on for a minute, okay. How about you two talk offline?
Okay.
I will
And just
report
get
to
a
you in the
plan
next board
together,
meeting.
Rather than taking up time in the meeting right now.
Yeah.
'Cause You're the two assets that need to solve this.
I
Okay?
have one more thing. I have to take a class here pretty quickly. Not this year, it's online for my transfer station license,
Yeah,
and I needed a computer. Years ago, Catherine used to let me come in and go online to the course, which I'm gonna call Tara this week and find out which one she wants me to take.
yeah.
And now, starting this year, it's the $50 license plus, you gotta pay for the course now. It's not that much, but I just wanted to bring that up, and again, I'm gonna try to line it up, but my wife said her computer won't.
So you need a computer
Yes,
and you need funding for the course.
yeah, well, yeah, I'll give him a check and then I'll just give him the receipt.
Well, you still need funding for
Yeah.
the course. Okay, okay. Linda, do we have a spare computer here that
Well,
you can
I
use?
told him he could come in, but it seems that his schedule is different than.
I'm gonna,
Oh,
I'll
I'm
have to
gonna
give up the
schedule for
weekend,
it,
yeah.
I'm gonna let you know, I'll schedule it.
so you gotta wait a time out. She's here during the day, you're at
Correct.
DOT during the day.
Yes.
Okay.
But I have,
Would Green give you time to,
he's gonna give me time,
he
okay?
should?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you arrange the time that fits with Linda's schedule? And you guys get that together?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, hearing this situation, I've got a laptop computer. If that would help ease, the situation, I'd be glad to,
Do you have internet?
Don't you have internet here? No, I'm talking about have it here,
No, we have an extra computer in there, Deb Val.
oh, you do, okay,
I would
all right,
coordinate with Deb, so.
okay, all right. I'm just trying to help.
When I took
Just
the
trying to help.
course here, she knew down in Concord that I was here, and that way there, I'm done, they just send you your license and so forth, okay? But if I did it on an off computer, they
But you
might,
gotta do it, you gotta do it with.
Yeah, right
with
off, so then-
desires. Okay.
in the next 20 days, so I gotta get it done, okay?
Procrastination's the chief
And I'm
thief of
calling,
time.
yep,
Okay, okay.
so that's it for me,
Super, thank you.
thank you.
Well, that's, we got some good, action on this.
We do.
The license and the oil burn, good.
Yep.
Steve, you weren't here, we were talking about, Linda was talking about the Gopher grant. You're aware of that?
I am.
And so you're sensitive to those funds being available to help out the election?
Yes, I did forward it to me, I think Linda sent it to me.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that we're
Yeah,
all on the same.
well, I saw it was on there, I assumed that's what she was gonna go to later on, but must have gone over that ahead of time.
Yep.
So that's fine.
And you had your hand up.
I was just gonna say that there's a company in Pittsfield, New Hampshire that handles waste oil. They recycle it. It's called a Meneco,
Oh,
in case you need it.
did he just go out?
Need it.
It's called what?
A Meneco. I don't know if they survived with the COVID shutdowns and everything, but
Thank you.
In Pittsfield.
Pittsfield.
He really likes meetings. As soon as he's out of here, he's out. Okay,
I'll look into that.
thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay. Update on the gravel.
I don't have much of one this week, I've been pretty
Okay.
busy. It's all about preparing for a warrant article in the spring, as far as the surveying and
So you're gonna do, your goal with the warrant article is what, surveying?
surveying, and then having a contingency that if, like the deed research, if the deed research proves that we still own the gravel pit, then they have a contingency to have that same company do the, the topo survey of how much gravel is actually there.
Okay,
Because before you do anything else after that, you would know how much is there, you can assign a number to it,
right,
and then decide whether or not we use any more money.
right.
So we just would have to come up, we'd have to get some quotes. Omer would probably have some ideas on how to best formulate a bid for a survey or for deed research.
Yes, search the title.
Yeah, so he would, because that seems like it'd be kind of tough to do a hard bid for title research, wouldn't it? Because you never, don't really know what you're gonna get into.
You
But we
don't.
have to get 3 bids, I assume, but it seems like that might be something that'd be better to not bid and pick a company like HEB that we work with.
Yeah,
But I think we're bound to bids. But that's a hard, to get an apples to apples
Okay,
bid,
so-
it's not easy.
so the hard thing is getting a company that does surveying, does the whole package.
Right, engineering.
And that's what you're looking for, is the whole package.
Yeah, we had the 3 in already for the bridges that could all do it.
Right,
And the engineers that also survey and everything.
so those would be the three groups we would put in.
Because you wouldn't want to hire just a surveyor, because then if we proceed, they don't usually do the wetland permitting. You want someone that can do all of it,
Right,
if it comes to that.
okay.
So we'll just have to, as we're working through budgets and warrant articles, we'll just have to kind of
Okay.
put that
So, yeah.
together.
As far as you two should probably communicate on the deed, just to make sure we've got the wording in the warrant.
Yeah, because when you get into deed research, you don't know how long it's gonna take, so how would a company bid that?
The thing that's better about it than when I first started doing title searches 41 years ago, is you don't have to go to the registry of deeds now. You can do it from your office.
Yep.
Technology is incredible.
Okay.
How
Do
do
you
you know
think
that?
that we could still, you think that it'd be possible to get an apples to apples bid doing it that way, or is there a different way we should do it? Because that's the part that I get hung up on, because I don't know enough about surveying.
Is the deeds office open to anybody that wants to go there?
They weren't, they may be now.
They may be limited. I don't know.
The COVID's limiting a lot of the state.
It was shut down.
Because I bet I could reduce the number of hours of legwork searching deeds.
But you can do it online, Francis.
I don't have the capability, you have to pay for,
Well, yeah, it's,
The tapestry
and the
online.
indexes aren't online anyway, are they?
I think the indexes are online, but you can't look at the actual deeds unless you have an account through Fiddler or something like that.
Or just a credit card, you can go on as.
I'd much rather go right there, but,
Okay. Just,
want me to do something?
I think they are open now, but you wanna check before you
Yeah,
drove.
check with,
Want me to see what I can do?
Jordan, why don't you coordinate things offline? You know, just, so we just keep moving forward on this, because you're gonna have to put together a warrant pretty quick. And,
Yeah, when is one of those gonna be due?
I'm telling, you know, the equipment to have everything together by December 1st,
Okay.
okay?
Yep.
And that's why they're meeting every 2 weeks.
So should we go ahead and invite some of these companies to,
Why don't we do the warrant first, so we figure the game plan?
do all, that'll be all after it gets voted on town meeting?
Right.
Okay.
if they're
Well-
gonna, those three companies are gonna tell us how much money we're gonna probably have to invest in order to put the warrant article
It's
together.
worth, yeah, it's worth some phone calls with them, but I don't think we need to drag them in for interviews.
We're gonna need some type of an estimate though,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have to go above that to make sure we're,
Right.
have the right
You're gonna
funding.
need to get some phone calls,
Yeah.
okay? And, I mean, you three.
I'm only, email or phone call away, Jordan, so you can.
What do you think that gravel pit, if there's gravel there, I mean, good gravel there, what do you think the town can actually get for? I'm just curious, off the top of my head.
Without getting more into it, I couldn't even
I
imagine.
mean, do you think the town could possibly sell it for a couple $100,000?
I think we would figure out how much gravel's there, and then you could talk to these pits, because there are people that would operate or do operate pits for other people, and they just figure out, like, it's like,
It's a buck a
like
yard.
timber, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple dollars a yard or something that they'll pay you and operate it, and you'll have to figure
I
out
was
their
just
profit,
curious.
and
Which piece of property are you talking about?
this is the town-owned gravel pit off Route 25
Right off.
by the river.
Yep, I know what you mean.
Selling.
So we're just trying to,
I was just curious, I thought that might be it, but I didn't know, thank you.
yeah, it's sat for 15 plus years, and we're trying to see if it has any value at all.
Would you like me to do whatever I can to see if there's anything worthwhile that I can come up with?
If you can pull together any and all deeds of that and the surrounding properties, I'm sure we could hand that to our engineer or surveyor in the future, and I'm sure it would
The
save
only
money.
question I have on that matter is the deeds office open on a daily basis?
I think it's right on their website, so if you can get to a computer or call. I think they are now open, but for quite a while they were not.
Okay. New business, you guys want to say on that? Request, as far as new business, request for a sign on commons regarding parking for covered bridge. You can park on the roads here. Do we need signs for this?
Well, Deborah Gelsey came in to see me.
Yeah.
She was supposed to come tonight, but she's not here. She said that people actually park in her driveway to go and look at the bridge, or whatever they do. I guess she lives in the last house down there.
Uh-huh.
She's on the common, you mean? She's not
Yeah.
across?
Just an half a page's old house.
Okay.
Okay.
So, she said she has tried to pull into her driveway, and this car is parked there. And she can't park in her own private driveway. And she just suggested that there be some sort of sign saying that there's no throughway, no parking, and maybe a sign that says parking and access to covered bridge on East Side Road. This is just her suggestion.
Yeah, I think the roads are public for parking. I think as far as for driveways, that's common courtesy not to park in somebody's driveway.
Right.
Just
Wouldn't that technically be trespassing?
That'd be trespassing.
So that would be like a police-related issue at that point.
Yeah.
When she says driveway though, does she mean
Is Chief
like
right out there?
roadside, like?
No,
down
you want me to get
common?
him? He's in his office.
Yeah, this is gonna be a
Her
question.
private
She's an
driveway.
actual driveway?
Yeah.
Because I know
that's
like on the common, a
trespassing.
lot of people park on the road, and that's kind of their driveway, like where they park, but it's still public.
Yeah, I don't know.
For the homeowner though, the mark that is private?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't think so, but she just requested that the town put a sign before they even get to her driveway. just something
Like
like
dead
that.
end or something.
Or
It's
no
it's a public
throughway.
way all the way through to the bridge, across the bridge. I mean, it's walking.
Yeah, but there's no through, there's no outlet, I guess.
You can't drive there. But where would you park on East Side Road?
I don't know.
You
Chief,
park
yes,
where
sir.
The
generally
question here is,
the stones.
Deborah Gilsey wants a sign on the common regarding parking for the covered bridge. And it's my understanding the roads in Wentworth are public roads, and you can park on the sides of the roads.
She's saying they're parking in her driveway.
And somebody parked in her driveway, and now she wants the town to put signs in
Oh,
there.
well.
So,
Well-
isn't your driveway your personal responsibility?
Well, you can have a sign on a public way, which would be Wentworth Village Road in this case, that says, private driveway, do not block a private driveway. You could do that.
Or no trespassing or something like that, right?
They're packing on the tire down there.
Hmm?
They're packing on the tire down there.
Right, but if they park on the tire but in front of the driveway so that the property owner can't back out, you can't do
Well,
that.
that's even worse, but they should be packing on the road all down there.
Should be what?
What is she?
You know what, the problem is that she didn't come to discuss this personally, so I don't know, we're all guessing at her point.
Okay, I'm just
I
wondering.
don't think we can do anything until we
If
figure
it
out.
has something to do with the construction that's going on down there right
It may
now?
have something to do with construction
Or
too.
is it,
You know what,
forest or?
we're circling around here, she's not here to discuss the issues. I think we gotta table it until we figure it out. But the question to you, is people's driveway is, if you park in their driveway, that's trespassing, isn't it?
Well, no,
It's
not
a
necessarily.
question, I just-
Not necessarily, no. It would have to be posted in order for it to be trespassing.
But the landowner, is the landowner the one that has to do the posting?
As far as the trespassing part of it, yes.
Yeah.
But if someone's parking on a roadway blocking a driveway,
Yeah,
then yeah, we can handle that.
but what is,
But we should post it down there because the bridge is there for the purpose of attracting people.
right,
But if we have it posted and someone blocks the driveway, then I can get out and issue somebody a parking ticket.
okay, so there's the solution right
Yeah,
there.
we could take enforcement action, sure.
So what would that sign say, chief?
No parking.
It's just like the sign, like Paul, we put up down about do not park within so many feet of the fire hydrant.
Oh, yeah,
All right, so you've got the sign, all right, yeah.
There's packing on the other side of the bridge anyway.
Right, but
But on the common side, there's all kinds of houses down there that, lead up to the bridge. And so some type of notice, I think, would be appropriate. If there's a generic notice that could,
do not
don't
block,
park in the driveway.
do not block private driveways.
Okay.
Just as a thought, you could just put a sign up that said, if you're headed down to the bridge, please park on the common.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
then you've eliminated anybody being down blocking the driveway.
Okay.
Or
Well, ones
please,
that
or
live there,
please
they're
park
also
on the
blocking.
common.
While you're talking, do you wanna get into,
See what I said?
Sure.
elections?
Sure, I'm Steve Welch,
Live there.
not Steve Walsh,
Live for the block.
but that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, it's okay, I'll suffer through it. You have the upcoming elections, as usual, only 2 select people or their designees there all day long. So, I'm not sure. We start the elections at 8 in the morning and you vote until 7 o'clock at night. So you can designate people to be there. Mr. Ahern, I assume you're not being there?
I'm not gonna be there,
That's fine.
conflict of interest.
No, that's fine. I
Thank
have
you.
no issues with that at all. And I understand completely. And thank you for helping out and doing so much at the last election. It was, you trooped on pretty well. I appreciate that very much and for all the other help I had. We'll have the same safety protocols in that we had before. The school was closed. We're gonna pre-process absentee ballots the Saturday before the elections. It's a partial process. We can open the outside envelope, compare signatures. It stops at that point because we can't do anything beyond that. But if there was an issue, if John Doe fills out the outside of his envelope, and doesn't sign the affidavit on the inside, not supposed to accept the ballot. This would give us the time, town clerk could contact John Doe and say,
Sure.
hey, you need to correct this, so we could take the ballots. We have, as of this afternoon, we had 114 absentee ballots, which, for this town is a real lot of absentee ballots. I don't believe I've ever processed much more than 30 or so. And it takes a long time to process them through. We will post that we are gonna pre-process. We'll have it out in paper. I'll make sure that somebody puts it out on the town website. It's obviously open to the public. Yes,
Where are you gonna do this at this school?
Probably right here. There needs to be 4 of us there. There needs to be myself, the town clerk, and a couple of ballot clerks. That's all I actually have to have there for the pre-processing. Alex actually was deemed as election officials. But I got the notice from, I guess, the Secretary of State's office. It came up as New Hampshire votes, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that going on. Again, we'll do everything we can, keep everybody safe and make sure that, we did what we could do, I think. And everybody was all on board. There were no issues, and one gentleman that came in had difficulties with the mask. We were able to accommodate him. It was not a big deal for anybody. It wasn't a big deal on my end or his end.
It all went well.
I think it did. Again, the one thing I would stress is if you're in the building, you gotta have a mask on. The school says you gotta have a mask on. We do have the shields the state provided that we'll put up. I got some materials for a couple of other shields because the state didn't give us enough. So we'll have probably a couple of those set up. I think I have them set for myself and the town clerk and her assistant, and then we'll set one up for whoever's down working in the office as a selectman's representative or down in the gym, excuse me. So, yes, sir.
When are you gonna want the materials in the storage container?
Probably
To the school.
be November 2nd, probably that afternoon. If I can get a hold of Paul and meet up with him down there towards the end of his part of the day, because we'll set up again. What's that?
There could be out plowing.
I have a radio. I bet I can track you down.
Well, I know where it is in the container. So
That's okay.
If you get in a pinch, just give me a
I will.
truck down.
It's far more fun to torment Paul, but, I can do that.
Okay.
But, no, in that aspect, we'll set up that Monday afternoon, so we have as much stuff ready as we can for Tuesday morning, because it does get hectic. I do have, to go along with the grant, I do have extra ballot clerks, which I had at the previous election. We need to compensate our people.
Yeah.
They do a good job. It's long hours, it's a long day.
It's,
Between the clerks, the supervisors, Linda Franz was incredibly helpful.
mhm.
It's a long day, and with the monies available, I would certainly be happy to see some of that go towards maybe helping these people out a little
They
bit.
work hard.
They work hard, and it's a demanding job, and you get a lot of times, most everybody is really good. Once in a while, you get somebody that's a little bit rude, but.
You mean the voters?
Yeah, but very, very, that is very much not the rule within reason. Everybody is decent. It's a small town, everybody knows everybody,
Yes.
so, everybody knows where you hang the laundry, so. Other than that, I believe we're in good shape. Again, however you guys wanna work out, having representatives there, that's actually required by the state constitution.
Mhm.
I had some way
Get
work on
myself
that to
ready.
find that out. But again, thank you all for your help, I appreciate it very much. I guess that's what I've got, I think we're in good shape.
Steve, if
Thank
you need help with setting up or breaking down, or feel free to reach out.
Okay, actually, if you wanted to come up, setting up isn't so bad, but if you wanted to show up at the end of the night,
Breakdown?
tear everything down,
Yeah.
that would be awesome,
Sure.
it really would.
Yeah, because everybody's beat.
Everybody's beat at that point.
Yep.
Andrew, if you
Same
want,
thing,
you
I
can
worked
be my
till 4, but I
representative.
can come down after that.
Oh, I
I
got a
break
break
down
down.
to some of the nights, so I'll be
Since
back tomorrow, swing out
the
there.
next select board meeting actually falls on the election,
Yeah.
does that mean there will not be a select board meeting until the 16th or 17th? 17th?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna skip,
So
just
Yeah,
totally
2 weeks
skip
from
that.
today.
Then. You'll
So-
have to sign checks.
Right.
if that's the case, I need to discuss 2 quick things with you before that. How's that?
Sure.
You ready now?
Yeah.
The roller we have down there, what are we gonna do with it? What do you want me to do with it? You wanna put it out to the highest bidder? I already called the scrap yard. They said $250, $300. I asked Kevin Knapp. He said you'd be lucky to get a couple $100 for it. I don't know what to do with it. What would you guys like me to do with it is what I'm asking.
This is when we saw this spring that was completely junk.
It's the one that needs a $30,000 hydraulic motor.
Okay.
I'd just like to get it out of the yard before winter.
I'd say scrap it. Over.
You wanna just put it out just to see if anybody bids on it?
Yeah, see if somebody bids on it, and then
Can I have Linda just put it out,
what, you wanna put a minimum bid on it, and if you don't get it, then you.
I mean,
you know we can take it.
$200 would be a minimum bid, it
We
might be.
put the scrap price as minimum.
Yeah,
And we wouldn't know unless, I mean, he said $200 to $300 for scrap. I hate to do that, you know, the town spent $15,000 on this thing 3 years ago.
It hasn't worked.
I don't know what else to do with it, is my point, and I'm just asking.
It's a useless piece of equipment.
I
Right now, it's-
agree
it's a
100%, it is a useless piece of equipment. It is to us, because we're not gonna put $30,000 into it.
Yeah. I put it out to bid, get a rough price, know the rough price you're gonna get for scrap, and if you get more than that, that's great.
Okay. Maybe Linda and I can put that together tomorrow.
yeah, I'm fine with that, sure.
And we'll open it,
Good
we'll open it
process.
at the next select board meeting, which is 4 weeks from today. And whoever the highest bidder is their highest, and if there's no offer, we take it to the scrap yard.
I'm okay with that.
It's a few people that I know, I'll tell them,
Put it on, the bulletin board in your highway page and.
we'll just see what happens.
Okay.
The next thing is, because I was gonna bring it up the next board meeting, is I know the budgets are coming up. I know it's getting really close to time to start scheduling budgets, and since you're not gonna have a meeting until the 17th, looks like the following meeting after that would be almost December, and that's when you're really gonna need people's budgets to look at.
Right.
I just wanna let you know my budget is done, and whenever you'd like a copy to meander through it, you're welcome to have it.
Can you email it?
Or I can give you a copy right now, I've got 3 of them.
Yeah, take it.
Okay. I'll give it to you before I read.
Can I
Okay.
do it too?
Steve, thank you.
Not a problem. Did anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, I should have asked.
How many
Everybody's good.
representatives can you find for me so I don't have to sit there all day?
You're gonna love this. None, it's not my job.
Perfect.
That's your job,
I'll work on it.
you know?
How's Bruce doing? I'll get him down there.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And actually, Mrs. Scheller is actually helping me at the election, down one of my ballot clerks, and she kindly agreed to fill in for this election. It can be anybody.
It's hard to find volunteers for that though.
It's hard to find
I'll get you.
But
people
anyways,
in general, you know, honestly.
Thank you.
Oh,
I have no problem
They
paying
do it.
people to come in and cover
Thanks.
for them.
yeah,
I really don't have an issue with that. I mean, it's extra people coming in, and it's something that, and we deal with this essentially not that often, but it's something that we should probably look in the future to budget things in for, to pay people to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can't be there all day, which I understand, it's not real convenient for me either, for whatever that's worth, then I do get paid to be there. Handsomely, I guess is the word we'll work with. And even that's okay, but no, I mean, we need to see that the people that are there putting the time in are compensated for it. It really,
My only concern is just a long day. I just have a hard time sitting from 8 to 7. I'm gonna have to get someone to spell me.
Oh,
because
yeah,
I can't
you
do
got
it.
it.
no, and you could be me. You know,
Yeah.
it's as hard a day for me as it is for anybody.
I know, I feel bad for you. because
You
you're
got a
stuck
couple
there all
of
the
years on
time.
you to go with that, so, but no, and honestly, I have nobody to spell me.
Yeah, that sucks for you. I'm gonna try to find someone.
Steve, you're unique.
I can actually appoint somebody that day to help me out, so,
Okay.
and so it's not the end of the world. I've got a feeling it might necessarily be the assistant town clerk, maybe.
fill in. She doesn't know that yet, but she watches this, she'll know. So, we'll do it kind of as a surprise.
Thank you,
But,
Steve.
anyway, so, I think everybody knows how to get a hold of me if they get questions.
Yep.
Linda's got my email, phone numbers in the book that nobody gets anymore. And you know how to get a hold of me, so.
Okay.
We'll cover it. Thank you all.
Good night,
Appreciate
thank you.
it.
I mean, you've already done your update on the COVID. And did your general procedures for finding the auditors. You've done that.
was just gonna go copy these out.
You wanted me to update it again today, I've done it previously,
But there's nothing new?
no.
Okay, we move on. And we'll move on to Becky Bordonaro?
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, great job pronouncing my last name, even I'm not that good at it. I
In
am,
Italian, you pronounce every vowel.
yes. For those of you who haven't met me, I am your friendly neighborhood health officer. Most of what I do does not happen in front of the select board. A lot of what I do is dealing with the one-on-one complaints, or since COVID, when everything kind of blew up, dealing with school safety plans, school reopening plans, things like that. So I am the health, I do not live in Wentworth. I actually live in Rumney. I am the health officer for Rumney, Wentworth, as well as Dorchester.
Okay.
With that being said, in Dorchester, I have a deputy, it's a member of their select board. In Rumney, I am currently looking for a deputy. And in Wentworth, I have a member of the Wentworth community that is willing to become a deputy. I know it's amazing, people don't volunteer for things anymore. So the role of a deputy health officer is to learn the RSAs, the rules and procedures of what we do, but a big part of it is being available when I am not. So I am a health officer, and for whatever reason, it is my passion, and I do care. With that being said, I am one person who works for 3 towns being health officer, who has a family, a farm, a 4-H club, and a full-time job in the medical field. In fact, I have been up since 6 o'clock Monday morning. I get out of work about an hour ago. There are times when I am just not available. Not because I don't want to be, but because scheduling happens. The other concern I have with COVID is it takes a couple days to get your COVID test back. If I show any symptoms at all, I'm quarantining. Which would mean if there were an issue that needed to be addressed, I would not be able to address it. So having a deputy would be highly beneficial. Not only that, but having a deputy that could represent your town. Don't get me wrong, I love Wentworth. I actually wish I lived on this side, but I don't. I live on that side of the border. So the deputy, the person that has contacted me and is interested is Tamsin Stewart. She's highly intelligent. Don't tell her I said that. She has worked in the medical field. She currently works for the Veterans Administration, processing veterans' disability benefits. So she's.
Over at White River?
I work from home.
She works remotely. So she is familiar with the legalese as well as how to do the research. Some of what we do requires a lot of research. And she's available at times when I necessarily am not.
So,
Coming to meetings.
how many hours do you put in a week in Wentworth? Is there a need for this?
Oh yes.
And why?
So, it varies week to week. Wentworth, before me, didn't have a health officer. I became the health officer for Wentworth because there was a landlord-tenant dispute. So, in dealing with landlord-tenant disputes, there is a minimum housing standard, RSA, set forth, and it is my job to inspect. The funny thing about landlord-tenant disputes is I go in and I do a full inspection from top to bottom in whatever rental house it is. But if there's a new complaint next week, I have to go and do a full inspection top to bottom. And this sometimes can be up to 12 visits, depending on how adversarial the parties become. And that requires a report be generated and, it's paperwork. We also do daycare licensing for both home daycares. We do foster care licensing. I do the inspections for that. I do inspections for food service. With COVID, it's 30 different policy changes in 13 days. When COVID happened, my normal schedule, which was as needed, I would be contacted as needed, became 2.5, 3 hour long conference calls 5 or 6 days a week. Now, I work in home health care, and I was able to schedule.
So it
that-
sounds like, it's episodic.
It
your
is.
job. Okay, so it's episodic and there's a cost to the town. So what I'm trying to do with the select board is we're looking for a cost benefit evaluation. What's the value to the town?
So, I can tell you that when I met with the Wentworth Select Board, who was there when I got hired, the question came up about reimbursement or how I was to be paid. And it was discussed that we could do like $50 per call. And my concern was Romney's paying me $600 a year. One landlord-tenant dispute that gets really, really nasty, where I have to go out 12 times to re-inspect the same property,
Yeah.
it could get very costly for the town of Wentworth. So what we decided then was that I would be put on a $600 a year stipend, and that was my entire budget. That was my budget, that way it
And who do
would
you
never go
report to
over.
in the town?
I actually report to the state.
So why doesn't the state pay you?
Because I am appointed by the town. So what I do,
Okay.
I have to report back to the state. But if there is an issue that requires the landlord-tenant dispute, I also notify and send a copy of my report to both parties involved as well as the town clerk. With the school reopening and all the COVID stuff, there hasn't been, a lot of that has been at the state level. A lot of that has been contacting our local fire department, seeing what PPE they needed. Tracking down PPE, which for a while was a challenge. I mean,
Okay.
so my thought is that what I get paid a year is still the same.
Okay.
The difference this year has been that what would have been $25 or $35 per call, per when I'm needed, this year, you guys really got your money's worth, because with all the webinars and conference
Yeah.
calls and hours, it still has to be done.
Yeah. Linda, would this fall under the Gopher grant? Would this increase
No.
workload?
No. This
'Cause
is a
COVID-
budgeted item that we
Okay.
have for that.
But like the police salary came under that,
No.
the increased expenses because of the COVID.
But we haven't had any increased expenses. She's still working off of her stipend,
Yeah,
which is a budgeted item.
Okay.
I don't claim expenses,
Yeah.
so.
Do you have questions at all?
Other than what, I can see the need for a deputy for the reasons that she's outlined, but we just need to know what the cost is gonna be. What's the cost gonna be to the town? What's your,
So it's
what's the
$600 a
proposal?
year?
$600 a year is what I make a year. So far, the woman who is interested in becoming deputy has not set a price on what she expects to get paid a year. I do think that she should be reimbursed something, because this can be a rather time-consuming obstacle. that there is definitely times where there's that phone call at 9 o'clock at night because somebody's concerned about water quality.
Would that fall under a hiring and firing non-public type of meeting as far as discussing pay and actually hiring a person?
I don't know.
Well, I originally had it at that,
Yeah.
and,
My only other concern is if this is the state requiring this, sounds like it's an Article 28A issue. If the state is imposing a requirement on local government, the state's supposed to pay for it under Article 28A of the New Hampshire Constitution. And the tax,
I'm not sure how they word that.
But you said you report to the state.
I do,
Usually
because,
people,
well, I don't just report to the state, I also report to the town, but in reporting to the state, because especially with
I
COVID,
can look into that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to look at it.
especially with COVID and contact tracing and school reopening, a lot of that is done at the state level.
Okay.
I mean, if we have to pay for it, okay, but, because, again, if it was something that was in place before Article 28A was passed by the legislature, then the towns are stuck with it. But if this is a new thing subsequent to Article 28A being implemented and made a part of the New Hampshire Constitution, then the state, and there's just so many things that we're paying for that I think the state should be paying for, okay? But that's another story for another day, which we don't have time for at this particular point.
Why do you wanna do the job?
Well, first, I've been a volunteer firefighter, been a volunteer EMT. I did work in the healthcare field, so pretty much all of my adult life has been dealing with safety and aiding people. I moved back here in 2014, and I wasn't sure that I was going to stay. My father died in 2016, and I inherited his property here on Atwell Hill. And since then, I've started to try and build my life here in the town, rather than being, oh, okay, well, I'm just here for a little while, and then I'm going to the next place.
No, I see you coming to the meetings, you really are taking part in the town.
Right, and this is, in my mind, the next step to that,
Mhm.
is to further immerse myself in the town that I've chosen to live in and raise my family in.
And those are noble gestures, they really are. And you do take part in our meetings, and, I see, you can see that you want to take part in the community, and I think it should happen. But the one click that hits me is, if it's a state mission, why is the town, and I don't mind,
I don't know, see,
that's what you,
on the state thing,
if you're not
there are some,
responsible.
if it's a
you're not
landlord-tenant
responsible-
dispute, I don't report
If
to
you're
the
not
state.
responsible to anybody in the town, you're operating totally independent of the town. And if it is the state and it's an RSA 20A, then
Constitution 28A, Constitution 28A.
I feel I may
That's a
have
whole-
worded that incorrectly. With the COVID
that's the one
stuff,
thing we haven't got clear
well,
here.
with everything regarding COVID, which is 90% of what I'm doing lately, that I do report to the state. That's pandemic response, but if it's landlord-tenant disputes, if it's foster care licensing, that, everything gets sent to the town clerk. We haven't had a bunch of that
Yeah, we don't
recently.
have a lot of rentals in this area.
I've had several landlord-tenant disputes in Wentworth. It's weird.
It is actually a fair amount.
Is it?
And then, are you the one that we called as far as, like the Baker River water testing?
Yes.
That you responded
Yes,
to that?
and
Or that was us that called?
and the
I-
septic and the campground.
The
Yes.
septic in campgrounds, I am the one that posted when we had higher E.
I
coli
got you.
levels.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we can make a decision tonight, because, Omer's gotta research out
Oh,
the
absolutely.
20A. Any more thoughts?
I guess, without knowing what the requested salary is, but knowing that,
Well, her request is, you're saying her request
Yours
is
is
salary of
600.
600.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
what I saw.
What are you comfortable with?
As the deputy, I would consider half of what the health officer's salary would be.
So my point is for $300, if you could, in theory, you could just go ahead and do this and then find out if the state's gonna pay for it or not, but it's $300. And we're probably gonna end up paying it for it, because the other towns are too, and I know Mr. Birdie in Rumney doesn't pay for anything that he doesn't have to. So if they're paying her, I'm sure we're gonna end up paying her.
Because you have good energy to bring to the town, and I think it's up to us to support that. You know, one of our endeavors here with the government is to try and get everybody involved.
Right.
So you wanna make a
I'm
motion?
gonna make a motion to accept her as the deputy.
Okay.
I'll second the motion. I mean, and the reasoning is with our elderly population in this town and so on, I just think it's necessary. Thank you for stepping up to.
Yes, thank you very much, that's
Okay,
that's
I vote
very
yes.
appreciated.
Are we just deciding on a stipend?
That's my second, my second.
Three.
For the 300,
Yeah.
300 is what you requested.
I think that's fair.
Okay. And then,
And if we can find a way for the state to pay for it, great, if not, it's $200.
right, okay, so we're all set on the vote? Okay, go ahead.
I don't think either of them voted.
In the past, unless they changed the law,
Did you not?
I voted.
Yeah,
I vote yes.
yes,
I
Okay.
vote yes. Yes. I second the motion, I vote yes.
okay.
in the past, unless they changed the law, the selectmen are the health officers in the absence of anybody else. That means that this lady was appointed by the selectmen, and that's the chain of command that has been established, unless they change the law. Her reports to the state will probably have to do more with her medical issues as opposed to anything else.
A lot of what I report to the state is
My
COVID.
main comment is here,
Okay.
if she's putting in all this time, and we're getting a good deal, I don't mind getting a good deal, but on the other hand, I don't like the idea of abusing somebody by overworking them for the stipend they got.
Well, why don't we just, we've just passed the thing. I would like to see, she's a deputy right now, let's see how it works out. And you seem straightforward enough to come and just talk to us and say, okay, I know my job now.
I don't wanna step on Rebecca's toes at all.
I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking, let's progress from here. And Francis, I appreciate your point, but she's just learning the job.
Or I guess what I'm
And
saying,
this is
if you
the-
can't do something
and
now, do
Francis,
something for next year so
this
that
is
they're paid
the-
at least
Francis,
minimum wage.
Francis, she's the one that asked for the 300. We voted on it. I agree in principle with what you're saying. It can be readdressed at another time.
On the warrant article, or on
Are
the
you
budget.
comfortable with that? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Then I
Let's
have,
stay in contact and stay in touch.
We gotta,
And know
Absolutely.
each other.
I have signed forms for you to sign.
okay, why don't we sign the forms, and then Homer has another meeting.
Could I ask the selectmen to do two things?
Okay, where it says select board.
I talk to you on the phone all the time, it's great to finally see you.
You're all, did you get the forms, right?
Yeah, but they know that I'm coming from another meeting, so where do I sign?
I had some public comments before I close out the meeting.
Public, okay.
It was printed.
Are they constructive?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, good.
Oh, I see.
usually isn't, but I say constructive. Maybe not.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure I'll understand it, but I'll look.
Oh, you'll understand, it's not too, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be advisable for you as selectmen to appoint Paul as the go-between person to get rid of that piece of junk down there before it freezes in the ground for a minimum of $250, let's say?
The roller you're
Yeah.
talking about? Well, we've
Otherwise-
given a month.
We already did
But
Otherwise, we gotta come back a month from now and approve whatever.
It'll just go for scrap in a month.
Huh?
If no one bids, it'll just go for scrap in a month and be done. It won't be frozen in by then.
No, I hope.
Just hit all the back though, and pull
And
it
the
out.
other one is you should pick your designees up there tonight, unless we got a chance.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
That's good.
Okay, congratulations.
What's up? We're good.
A question from the public?
Alright, I just wanted to make,
Go ahead. Linda?
couple things. So, New Hampshire Electric Co-op voted on that, or there was a vote of the members, for a bylaws amendment that the New Hampshire Electric Co-op, held, and that did pass, so that allows the New Hampshire Electric Co-op to now basically, build out a broadband network. It's a little bit, the actual amendment's a little bit broader than just broadband, but it does allow them to build that out as needed. And I did validate that the Christmas lighting is on November 28th between 3 and 6 p.m.
Okay.
The rain date is the 29th.
Okay. You got that, Linda?
No.
Huh? Yeah.
It's on the video too if you want. Anyways, that's all I have.
Okay,
Okay, so 3 to
Thank you.
6.
we're all set?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Adjourn, we have a non-public.
I'm gonna waive that for tonight. It's my
Oh, it's your
non-public.
non-public.
Yes, I believe it's my non-public, right, Linda?
Yes.
Yeah, that can wait another couple of weeks or 3 weeks or whatever.
Okay. No
Thank you.
business. Other than
So
that,
Omar made a motion to adjourn,
To adjourn, yes.
and I was second.